Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Yesterday, one of the videos that I posted was about the concept of Ripple doing something nefarious, something to suppress the price of XRP for some reason. And I think the concept of that is irrational. I think there's no evidence to point to it. I think there's all reason to the contrary to think that Ripple would support XRP rising in value responsibly over a period of time. There's lots of reasons that would make sense, and I covered a lot of that in the video yesterday. But today I want to go ahead and flesh out a couple more thoughts that are somewhat related on this, because there's this idea that Ripple is just selling XRP willy-nilly to whoever below market rate just to make a quick buck. So we're going to talk about that because that is silly nonsense, but we're going to get to that. And then I got a couple other fun things. We got some FUD from a Tradingview on XRP, just for the heck of it. Decided to toss out at least one FUD sentence in a tweet. I'll be sharing that with you. I've also got, in non-XRP related news, I'll close the video out with this. There's a blockchain-based video game that's going to be, I know it's going to be coming out on iOS devices, and I think they said something else too, but you can actually win cryptocurrency, was my understanding in reading through the article. So it's kind of fascinating to see developments like this occur, and since it's crypto related, I thought I'd share it with you. But let's go ahead and delve into the content here. Okay, so what got me thinking about this further is I came across this tweet today, and the thread actually started 2 days ago, but there was this tweet from somebody on Twitter named XRP Honey, and she tweeted out, "This wallet is so interesting. With all the rumors of Ripple intentionally suppressing XRP price, here we have a wallet collecting huge sums of XRP from Ripple, then selling over and over 300,000 plus at a time." And I'm not going to read every single tweeter, so let me just scroll down a little bit, because I think Galgatron, when he jumped into this thread, he's just absolutely nailing how irrational some of these concerns are. And so he, he jumped in at this moment. He wrote, because, mind you, I've shown you two, I think it may have been yesterday actually, I think he showed you the latest charts from Galgatron, which shows basically the health of the XRP ledger, what's going on with it, how many new XRP accounts are actually being opened over in any period of time. And anyway, so he's tracking all sorts of XRP movements and volume, right? So, or not volumes and not the movements, rather. So anyway, he tweets this in response to some of what was going on. He wrote, "I track volumes, not movements. Does look like a whale is buying XRP from Ripple and playing the markets with it. I doubt they got it at a discount, so it's unlikely they're straight dumping it to break even, rather looking for profits," right? And so basically, what he's saying is he thinks that there's maybe a big player out there, whoever it would be, don't know who it is. It's unknown because the XRP ledger is essentially pseudo anonymous, right? But what Galgatron's theorizing, because what else would make sense, is that so they purchased XRP and then moved it to an exchange, and they're doing actual trading with it and trying to not lose money, of course. And as we know, by the way, fun side note, data shows that about 95% of traders actually lose money. So you better be really good at it, especially if you're buying large volumes from Ripple and playing with that, So, but anyway, so if somebody actually did want to just engage in trading, though, it makes sense to do it over-the-counter purchasing from Ripple, because if you do it from the exchange, that's going to dramatically affect price immediately, whereas if you buy it from Ripple behind the scenes, especially if you're an institutional buyer, for whoever you are, it's not going to immediately impact the price. Although, of course, as we know, as I stated yesterday, that does affect supply and demand, but there's not this immediate reaction from market speculators on exchanges here. And so, anyway, there's a guy named Joe Smo who responded to Galgatron. "The amounts being dumped each day across those numerous exchanges could have a significant effect on keeping the price low, right? And then XRP Honey responded, "I'm counting as much as 7 million plus XRP per day dumped on various exchanges." And then Galgatron responded, and this is quite the salient point. He responds, "That doesn't translate into immediate sales. It makes no sense to buy a ton of XRP and then sell at a loss due to slippage," right? And so what he's saying is basically, if you're going to buy XRP from Ripple and then move it and sell it immediately at the same price you just bought it for, that makes no sense. Why if that XRP is purchased, it would be sold, especially if you're trying to make a profit on it, you'd sell it at a later date, right? And if you're purchasing it because, for instance, you want to go into the business of being a market maker, well, then you're not really investing in XRP with the purpose of it appreciating, but you are taking it out of the ecosystem, which affects supply and demand, which is positive. But if you're a market maker, for example, then you're just trying to make money with the buying and selling, the fees associated with the buying and selling, which is different also. Okay. So then Joe Smo responded to Galgatron. He wrote, if this XRP isn't being sold on the exchanges it is being sent to, what do you suppose is happening with all of it? Doesn't it seem a stronger case can be made that it is being sold regularly? We've all seen the huge sell walls that go up on exchanges. And Galgatron responded, and this is the most appropriate response to what the concern that Joe just put out there. Galgatron tweeted, ask yourself this. Does it make sense to buy a bunch of XRP at market price and then immediately sell it on the market? And then Joe responded, because of course it doesn't make sense. But anyway, Joe responded, that wouldn't make sense for me or you, but it might make sense for someone else who has entirely different goals and a reason to do so. And I read that from Joe, and I'm like, what is he talking about? That makes no sense. And then I quickly read Galgatron's response, which was, no, it never makes sense to throw money away. And I was like, yes, ding, ding, ding. So I hit the little heart button on that. I like that comment. And then Joe responded, you seem so sure that 7 million plus daily being sent from Ripple to these exchanges is not being sold. If it is not being sold, what do you believe the most logical conclusion would be? And it's kind of silly. So like, it's more like Joe doesn't have the answer here. And he has an opinion formed based on no evidence. It's just a feeling that he has, and it's just maybe an emotional response, but literally his opinion is formed based on no facts, just feelings. And I don't think that's a good way to form opinions or to form belief systems in life, just in general. And so Galgatron responded, what is the reason you might buy XRP today and put it on exchange? And Joe Smo responded, to sell it. Okay, right. Galgatron responded after that. You're telling me that you would buy XRP at market price, then move it to an exchange to sell at market price immediately, that's silly, right? Like, what is the purpose of this merry-go-round, right? That would make no freaking sense whatsoever. And then Joe responded, you asked me why I would buy XRP and put it on an exchange. The only reason I would do that is to sell it. However, we don't necessarily know how much was paid for at the current 9.8 million in the wallet. All we know is that it is from Ripple, and it has been sending exchangers 7 million plus daily. And so Galgatron responded, and this is where we're going to get into really what I wanted to delve into here. He wrote, we do know. They paid full price, otherwise they wouldn't be able to sell it. And then he had he kind of retweeted this tweet from David Schwartz, which is Ripple's CTO. And this is the one here. And so there was this thread here, and this gets to what I wanted to talk about in terms of selling below market rate here. So let's go ahead and cover this a little bit. Basically, what David Schwartz said here I'll just go ahead and read this. He wrote, and this is actually from back in, what was the date on this? April 25th of 2019. It's just a few months ago. Right. He wrote, there wouldn't be a discount in terms of selling XRP. There wouldn't be a discount for no reason, but if, for example, the XRP were accompanied by selling restrictions, a discount might be used to balance the impact of the restrictions, right? And so, it's just, if you think about it, why would Ripple want to sell below market rate to anybody? Like, if anything, why, can somebody communicate to me what the purpose would be? Because all they'd be doing is making somebody else rich and harming the immediate value of XRP as it would trend downward if massive quantities by the bucket load are just sold off below market rate. Why would Ripple have an incentive to make some other entity not attached to them rich? That's completely irrational, right? You guys can see where I'm going with that. That's just completely absurd. So that's the biggest point that I wanted to make there. And there may have been something else in this thread. Here, I'll read the next few tweets because it's in this exact same thread here. But there's somebody named Ben who was responding to David here, and he wrote, "Thank you, David. Are you able to disclose more details about the nature of these restrictions? What are the usual and or the time restrictions?" And David didn't respond to that. But what was the next one? Here we go. Somebody named WB responded, "I think there should be a bit more transparency about the 700 billion than just being used in a variety of ways to help support the ecosystem. I also wondered why deals from Spring are not displayed more clearly. That is a common practice in the VC/CVC space." And Galgatron responded, "I disagree somewhat. While it would be interesting to know, it's neither critical nor strategic to be fully transparent. Opening everything up invites unwanted and often baseless scrutiny. Imagine feeding the FUD engine for more data. And I tend to agree with Galgatron there. You know, Galgatron's just kind of on the ball. He's one of the best critical thinkers within the XRP community, in my humble opinion. Really sharp guy. And he'll say whatever he believes is genuinely factual. He doesn't seem to have some sort of agenda, and he's not just going to cheerlead for Ripple and XRP if there's reason to state something that would be negative or questionable within the ecosystem. And I appreciate that. I don't want a bunch of hopium just for the sake of it. I know life isn't all puppies and ice cream all the time. I just want a nice dose of reality, and that's why I value his critical thinking. And not everybody appreciates it. You know, he says something where he's questioning something, people are like, anti-XRP, but no. Galgatron, he happens to be pro-XRP, but it's not based on emotion, it's based on facts, and that's how I operate in life in general, so I can really relate to the type of content that Galgatron is putting out there, and I can certainly appreciate how he's sharing his opinions, which is why I'm always happy to share what he puts out into the ecosystem. I just think he's smart and a great analytical mind, really. So that's what I got on you for that particular topic. But it's just silly to think that Ripple would have any sort of incentive to actually sell below market rate just to no benefit of themselves, of their own. Like, to what end? Because they can just unload XRP, and it's not like they're hurting for cash at the moment. Why would they even do that? There's no sense in it. But on to the next piece. This is what the FUD that Tradingview put out. It's just the way they worded it. It's like it's just not the most egregious FUD I've seen, but I just wanted to point it out here. And so Tradingview, they tweeted this out today, and they stated, while some traders think that Ripple XRP is about to jump towards $50 to $1,000 a coin, XRP USD exchange rate is currently entering a very important zone around 38 cents. If there won't be any support from the XRP army, Ripple might fall back to 29 to 30 cents. That's FUD. That is definition FUD. FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Tradingview is putting fear, uncertainty, and doubt into the space. That's absolutely what they're doing. And based on what? And to what end? It's just like everyone, it goes back to what I've said in the past, where it seems like there are so many people that have been in the space for a long time, and they just hate anything XRP, Ripple, and they just view it incorrectly as helping the legacy banking system and all this and that. And they use the hashtag XRP Army. Nobody in the XRP community is using that anymore, right? Is there anyone that's still using that? Everybody's going by XRP community, has been for the last year or two or whatever it's been. So that sounds more negative and aggressive, though. So I've noticed that the people that want to identify people within the XRP community, they choose to use XRP Army because they believe it sounds more aggressive. So there's that. And then they're talking about XRP going down 29 to 30 cents when really, it would make much more rational sense. If XRP were going to go down by that degree, would it make more sense that it would mean that it followed Bitcoin? Because when you see these kinds of the corrections, I'll tell you this: XRP is more likely to move closer in step to Bitcoin's price during downward movements, from what I've seen, compared to upward movement. When it comes to upward movement, yeah, it'll move up with it, but it goes through these longer stretches where it goes really long periods of time before it moves up. But yeah, it's not as afraid to move down with Bitcoin. Not that it always will in lockstep, but that's just been what I've kind of noticed anyway. So just putting this out into the space, it's complete garbage. What's the incentive for? Are they doing this with other coins all the time? I don't know. Whatever. But I want to call it FUD when I see it, and to me, this is just fear, uncertainty, and doubt, textbook definition. So thought I'd share it with you. All right, next here, Eric Dadun tweeted this out. I think, this was today, 7 hours ago. And he retweeted a Wright Wind tweet, with Wright Wind being the creator of the XRP tip bot and the creator of XRPL Labs, which is a business which is funded by Ripple through their Spring initiative. Right? I think that was announced within the last few months or so. But anyway, so Eric tweeted out, and this is really cool stuff, and I want to find out what all this means, so let me just share it with you here. The sleeping giant of the XRP and ILP ecosystems is busy building towards bank licenses and real utility. Wright Wind, ladies and gentlemen. And so let me first show you this. Here, let me click on this. This is a tweet from Wright Wind, and I'm going to have to read just above it. It's from the same thread. But there's this other Twitter fellow named AutoTweetAFK, and he tweeted out... where is it? Yeah. Wright needs to get a banking license so we can get a proper XRP-derived bank. Interesting. Okay. Wright actually responded to that directly. Isn't this interesting? Here's what he had to say. Working on that. got an interesting meeting next week. And he's got the little emoji with the cool shades on it. Really looking forward to it. So again, the original tweet from AutoTweak AFK was, Wheatsay needs to get a banking license so we can get a proper XRP-derived bank. And then Wheatsay said, yep, working on it. So he's trying to get a license to start an XRP bank. Look, there's nothing else on this, but I had to share this with you. And I'm sure that more is going to become public knowledge as things unfold. But it's whatever he's doing, it sounds like really cool stuff. So I want to see exactly what this looks like. I can only imagine what this actually means. And then he also showed, if you go here, this is another tweet that Wheatsay put out in response to Eric. And here it is. Here's so he responded, now that you're mentioning building, doing plenty of that. And he's got a few pictures of what he's working on. This is Sum, and it's spelled Xumm. And he's just got a couple of, I think 3 pictures of the app that he's working on right here. So I'm showing them on the screen right now. If you're driving, don't look. Okay, you keep your ass on the road, sir or madam. But yeah, so this is what it's looking like right now. So anyway, more news on that. It unfolds. I just thought I'd share it with you because it's kind of a cool comment. All right, I think that's it for the XRP news in the video. Let me move on to this one now. This is a piece from Cointelegraph. And this particular piece is titled, Blockchain-Based Game Becomes First DApp to Launch on Crypto Platform. And I just thought it was kind of a fun, interesting story, so I'm sharing it with you, even though it's not XRP. It states, a crypto platform has announced the launch of the first decentralized application, DApp, on its blockchain. Ilcoin, I don't know if they're going by Ilcoin or ILCoin, so I guess I'll call them Ilcoin, because this is ill, son. Ilcoin says its debut DApp, created on the SHA-256 blockchain, is a game called Age of ILC, maybe it's ILC, I don't know, whatever. A tower defense game in which players have to obstruct strangers and stop them from stealing their treasure. The game's developers say their title has been designed to have an old-school retro look, like in the 1980s and 1990s. Age of ILC will initially be made available on Google Play in the middle of July, and work is already underway to bring the game to iOS smartphones and tablets at a later date. ILCoin says real cryptocurrencies can be acquired and spent through playing the game, and micropayments are made using ILC coins. Upgrades can be purchased to give players an upper hand as they stave off enemies. Upon launch, 4 tracks with varying degrees of difficulty will be available to choose from, with each track boasting its own special features and distinctive enemies to keep gamers challenged. ILCoin says more levels, in addition to new graphic elements, are going to be released every 2 months. Each upgrade will also be accompanied by developments in the game's storyline, with every twist and turn in the tale receiving its own blockbuster trailer to draw gaming enthusiasts in. Now, it's a fascinating concept. Whether or not this is a good idea, I don't know. There aren't a lot of specifics underlying this, what the intended utility of all of this is. Because basically, microtransactions already exist within the video game world. I am aware of that. And so what kind of benefits would cryptocurrencies potentially bring to the space? Well, you can pretty much get, it kind of depends on the speed of your cryptocurrency, compare Bitcoin to XRP, for example. You can see there's a huge disparity in how long it takes to actually process transactions, especially when network is getting a lot of traffic. But assuming things are flowing smoothly, you can get basically instant settlement. That can help from a business perspective. Does that really help the particular user? I'm not so sure. It can help with efficiency and trust if everything's cryptographically secure, but to what degree would this actually be superior to a database? I don't know. Hopefully they'd have a reason that this would be notably better than what it would mean to actually use a database. If it really is, if the primary utility comes from just moving money, I could see that. If it really is just moving money without layers of human management, if it's as simple as that, I can accept that. If there's anything else to it, they haven't stated it. So I am kind of curious to know. That's something I'd be interested in. All right, last piece I got here, and this is just kind of funny, made me laugh, so I'm sharing this with you. This is a tweet from Philip Nunn, and what is his title up here? I forget it already. Entrepreneur, CEO, keynote speaker, blockchain, Web 3.0, bit of business chat. I tend to brain dump a lot. Okay, cool, dude. And so he has this tweet out, and I caught my attention. I was like, what is this? It piqued my interest. And he tweeted out, check out the site loser.com. if you're a BTC maximalist, you might appreciate what the person who purchased the URL has done there. So let me go ahead and click on this, just so you can see what it does if you click on loser.com. And here we go. And it takes you to the Wikipedia page of Craig Wright, which is hilarious. Now, if you're unaware, Craig Wright, he is a person that is claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and there seems to be strong reason to believe that it's an absolute hoax. And so I'll read like the first couple sentences here in this Wikipedia page, and this is hilarious that somebody actually paid to actually just have this redirected to Craig Wright's Wikipedia page. But anyway, all right, so Craig Stephen Wright, born October 1970, is an Australian computer scientist and businessman. He has publicly claimed to be the main part of the team that created Bitcoin and the identity beyond the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. These claims are widely regarded as a possible hoax. Yep, I don't think pretty much anybody on the planet believes him. So anyway, he just seems like a ridiculous person. Anytime he comes from the news and I hear a quote from him, he just sounds like smug, arrogant, and so... and there's no reason to believe. Like, there's been no... If he had created Bitcoin, surely he'd have some sort of evidence, but... he doesn't. There's been nothing put out there that would make this sound credible in any capacity. And there's also been some proof put out into the world that I've read about on CoinDesk and other sources to where he's actually fabricating... there's been proof that he's fabricating documents that that were designed to make you think he actually made Bitcoin. So it sounds pretty shady all around, but I got a chuckle out of it, so I thought I'd share you. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking out my video today. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea.